when I say I during the delivery of this text, is the President. So, President Klaus Schwab, Excellencies, President of the World Economic Forum, Mr. Borge Brande, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Ms. Amina Mohammed, heads of state and government, ministers, members of the business community, representatives of international organizations, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to address this first plenary session of the World Economic Forum Africa 2019 at a time when we are all confronted with the same question: how to harness the potential of the fourth industrial revolution in pursuit of development and economic growth, and importantly, how to ensure that as we take this quantum leap into the future, we do not leave society's most marginalized behind. Disruptive trends and technologies are changing the way we live, the way we work, and the way we do business, and the way we govern. We must respond with agility to craft a roadmap for navigating this new environment. We must ensure that our citizens are prepared, and if necessary, that they are shielded from any negative consequences which might arise. As African countries, we must take advantage of the opportunities presented by the technological changes to enhance our competitiveness in the global landscape. This rests on our ability to adapt and to evolve. The growth of mobile money systems on the continent is an example of how much technology can broaden access to markets, connect companies and people, and support the growth of startups and small businesses. We're entering an era in which many things are unknown. We need to prepare our young people for jobs that haven't yet been created. We need to adopt incentive programs for industries that may experience significant structural disruption in just a few years' time. But at the same time, there is much more that we know. We know that the free flow of data is at the heart of this revolution. Consideration, therefore, has to be given to privacy, data protection, and intellectual property rights. We know that workforces in just about every industry will be impacted by automation, possibly resulting in downsizing and redundancies. According to McKinsey, up to 375 million workers globally may have to change their occupational category and acquire new skills by 2030. Employers will need to make substantial financial commitments to ongoing upskilling and reskilling in response to labor market needs. We need to stimulate entrepreneurial activity because many of the big companies that are the lifeblood of economies of today will be displaced by leaner, more adaptable small and medium enterprises. Our response must be collaborative, multi-sectoral, and inclusive. That's why we, as South Africa, are working with our neighbors to develop a continental strategy led by the African Telecommunications Union. This collaboration must extend itself to the private sector, academia, policymakers, and other stakeholders. In South Africa, for example, we have established a presidential commission on the fourth industrial revolution to identify strategies and action plans that will position our country as a competitive global player in this new space. Our response to the fourth industrial revolution should not merely be defensive, in the same way as when the workers in Manchester noticed that the introduction of new technology might mean that they have to change their ways and begin destroying the equipment. We shouldn't do that. That's me now. So I proceed with what the president is saying. We must harness these changes to solve some of our most pressing economic and developmental challenges. Africa can and must take advantage of these changes to industrialize in a new way, to pursue inclusive growth and attract investment. New technologies can also be put to better use in improving service delivery. We have seen, for instance, the way in which India has leveraged technology to broaden access to banking in its rural areas, and has even digitized its public distribution system that provides subsidized food and non-food items to vulnerable groups. This type of innovation presents tremendous opportunities for tasks like social grant distribution, electrification, and internet access. We must be open to new ways of doing things. We must be prepared to take risks or risks being left behind. We must always take the circumstances and varying levels of development of the many countries here into account. What has worked in one place may not work altogether in another. When it comes to digital inclusion, the focus must be on achieving critical mass on internet penetration. We all know that economic growth, job creation, and entrepreneurial activity is inextricably linked to broadband access. We therefore need to ensure that broadband access, like healthcare and education, is available to all. If we do not overcome social, economic, and spatial inequality in the provision of broadband, we will simply perpetuate the economic exclusion of the majority of the people. In the development of our policy and in the implementation of our programs, we need to ensure that technology promotes greater equity and broader social and economic participation. As African countries, we share a common determination to be part of this new age of disruption and to join the economy of the future. That's the end of the President's speech, but let me add and say that we welcome all Africans who have come to this conference. We welcome all Africans who live in South Africa. We are all Africans. God bless Africa.